Welcome to the Rideshare Professor Show. I have a special guest with me today, the CEO of the Fair Co-op, Ivan Olivo. Welcome, my friend.
Welcome. Hey, thanks so much for the great welcome, Torsten. Glad to be back on your channel again. Supporting drivers. We all appreciate everything you do. But yeah, definitely glad to be back. I appreciate it.
Ivan, I came across today's article on the Grit Daily, and it's just a beautiful feeling to get that recognition after years and years of hard work, staying focused, uh, bringing in the right people. Are a, you're a driver. I mean, you're out there. We met in San Francisco. You're the real deal. So you understand the language, you understand the streets, and at the same time, you bring your business smarts to the table. And as I said in the last show that we had, I think you joining the Fair Co-op took this to a whole new level. I see you in the picture behind me. He's the tall guy, the tall and handsome guy. Ivan Olivo, go for it. Tell us how we got to this point and what drivers can look forward to in the future.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Thanks for the nice words, kind words there. And yeah, I mean, I've just been a driver. I'm still a driver. I'm still the only CEO, actual active driver that I know of, and still on the Lyft and Uber platforms. But I must say, I'm a lot more on the Fair Co-op platform now, as you can imagine, right? But I'm still talking with customers there, of course, and seeing what's going on and kind of still in a lot of the chats and whatnot with drivers to see what's happening. And it's been really sad. I mean, me personally as a driver, all we see is this, right? We just see decline, 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 for the driver's pay. And, customers, of course, up, 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 bridging this huge gap, right? And then, Uber and Lyft just taking all these profits and, basically just abusing us, using us, lying to us, stealing from us. I mean, you name it. They've thought of anything and everything they possibly can do because we're quote this independent contractor, right? We're not employees or anything like that, but yet we're treated as such, right? We get put in timeouts, we get all these stupid games and challenges that they do, like just the recent one, oh, you got to be into this area. If you don't accept all these rides, you're going to get down and all this stuff, and all these games they play. So drivers like myself, whatever, tired of all that. As you can see, AJ and Danny in the pictures behind you, the founders and of Fair Co-op brought me in as the CEO because we're a co-op, right? We're a co-op, we're a driver co-own and members that got together and decided to say, we need a change, we need to make a difference. And who better than have an actual driver leading that way? And so that's kind of where they approached me. And here I am. Here I am. Supporting the drivers, supporting the cause, and trying to give a better life for drivers. And we want to take as many drivers with us as we can for something we feel is way, way, way better than what they're being offered every day from Lyft and Uber.
Yeah, you touched on several things there, but one thing I do in my channel, I read hundreds and hundreds of comments every single day, and when I see the level of anger, upset, disappointment, I mean, they never really ever earned our trust because from day one they were just always playing games. So I mean, you mentioned a few words like stealing. Look, we can use that word stealing because they were sued. They had to settle for $380 million in New York. That's just in New York. Can you imagine the other 49 states or the other countries, what they were up to there? So drivers and riders simply do not trust Uber or Lyft anymore. This is not my soundbite. Just go and read the comments, right? Read the comments from drivers. So the fact that we have built the trust. Now, my parents always taught me trust is built with consistency. And where we have been consistent with the Fair Co-op is that we have always been straight, right? We may have taken a little bit longer. We certainly didn't have the billions to build the company overnight, but we built the trust, city by city. We built the trust by paying the actual fees in California. There's still a couple of players out there hustling drivers without the right licenses, but we actually paid those monies. We paid to play in California, and the article behind us, editors and newspapers don't just push out an article because they need a story. They got to back up their story. So the fact that FAIR has grown and shown that it's a successful model in California deserved the right of this article. And it's a must read. I'm making a standalone video on this. The link will be beneath this video. But today I want to touch on a very exciting way that drivers can come on board in California, because there's literally two ways to onboard. And in the near future, I will be bringing in drivers from different cities that'll show us how they onboarded, on what level they actually came on board, because the shares, and just pay attention to this, they went from 100 to 300 to 500. So that clearly shows you the value of the FAIR co-op, with all the PR, with all the noise and all the recognition we're getting out there. Me personally, if you have the money, you jump on board and take equity in the co-op, in this hybrid model, or as Ivan will explain to you right now, you come in as a penny member. I mean, do you have a penny in your pocket, Ivan? I mean, let's show everyone what a penny looks like.
I don't know. I do. Let me look in the couch. I think I've got some.
Yeah, and usually you'll find pennies.
Hey, here we go. Man, I should have checked my couch before. Look at this.
How many pennies are there?
I got a few pennies here. I mean, this is all it takes now, Torsten, right? There's a penny right there. That's
your 5-6 pennies.
That's at least 5 drivers right there.
At the end of the day, the way I see, you probably found them under the cushion on your sofa there. But the 5 pennies literally on board 5 drivers, and this is really the exciting part. And you just really need to share with the people how this all works. So, go ahead.
Yeah, and this is just a great analogy, right? I mean, literally a penny, right? I found some in my couch, right? You might find some in your car, underneath your car seat, right? As a driver. So the notion that, a driver with FAIR co-op, I need to, have this investment that, and do all that, whatever. Yes, we do have that position, but you can start with this, right? You can start with just a penny. There's no reason, there's no excuse for any driver right now that's not watching this, that already signed up with Uber, that's already signed up with Lyft, or anybody else, that for 1 penny, we could even take this penny away from your very first ride, right? So we'll deduct it, right? The 1 cent. Now you're in. Now you're a member. Now you're part of the co-op, right? So now you belong, with the group of drivers, and your pay compared to Uber and Lyft right now, right? Getting up to that, 55%, right, after the fees and everything like that, of the fare, because you get that value from the fare, right, after all the insurance and all that kind of stuff and the sales tax. But that is huge compared to what are you getting on Uber or Lyft these days?
Exactly.
25%, maybe 30%, maybe, or something like that, right? I mean, if you're lucky, right? So imagine 55% for a penny, right? I get into a penny. That's it. All I have to do, by the way, is get this 1 penny in, or take it from my first ride, and then do the background check, right? So our background check, only $20, right? $20 to get the background check. You do your little, vehicle inspection, which you could even use the one you did for Uber and Lyft if it's, not more than a month old. And that's it. You're on our platform. And now you get to experience us. You get to see what these rides that are coming in. You get to see, wow, I remember doing this ride, back and forth, and, the same one. And now I'm getting paid, 30% more, 40% more, 50% more, maybe double, right? So that's a huge, huge thing. And it's a win for the customer, right? The customers are benefiting because, they're getting up to about 20% on average compared to like an Uber or Lyft. And especially when you've got surge pricing going on, right? Customers hate surge pricing, right? So when you go to the big event and you get out of your, football game, basketball game, prices go up. We don't have surge pricing, right? Imagine you standing out front, of the, of your local Coliseum or whatever, and showing drivers like, oh, hey, yeah, you can see them all, right, doing their Uber and Lyft, and you go, hey, I can do that ride, here, no surge pricing, whatever, come with me, right? I'll sign you up right now, let's go, right? Boom, off you are, the customer's happy, you're happy, not to mention the fact that you still can sign them up with your referral code, right? We have the referral program. This is
exactly
for the penny share people, right? The penny share people get to sign up drivers, they get to sign up customers, and that's huge. That you have to understand how big that's going to be in the future, right? If I'm building up customers, if I'm building up drivers, and every time they're on the platform, right, I'm getting a little piece of that, right, every single time for my life that I'm on. If I did this back when Uber, right, first started, can you imagine if
Yeah.
Uber had this referral program at that time, right? And to this day, I would still be earning on people that I signed up 10 years ago. It
Yeah.
boggles the mind, right? You and I, Torres, and we'd be on some island somewhere, right? After our referral money came in, we wouldn't even be driving anymore, obviously, right? So
And
that's a huge thing in itself in that. But this enables the penny share drivers to now see what it is. But they say, hey, I want to make more money. I want to make what those other co-op drivers are making because they're making, up to what, 85% after all the fees and everything like that. That's huge. How do I do that? Well, that's where you purchase into a share. And as you just mentioned, right, it went up 100, 150, now it's up to 500 and all that. We have ways that drivers don't realize that you can get into that. And you pay like $100 a month, right? And for right now we're at 500. So what, you pay $100 a month for like 6 months or so to get into that program. We also have Karna, right? Is it saying that right?
yeah,
Yeah, Karna. So they have that program that you mentioned. I think early on another video about how we have that payment system, right? We're big companies and like Amazon and all that kind of stuff where you just make some payments every couple of weeks and boom, you're in, you got your share value. So we make it very, very affordable. And then with our shareholders, you just pay that, that monthly fee. It's a $50 fee. It'll never go up. It's a flat 50. That pays for all the marketing, right? All the advertising stuff. We have this big, advertising firm thing now that's with us, our PR firm. All the app maintenance, all the improvements that we've done. We've had huge milestones and improvements on our app. If a lot of drivers that are watching this video now haven't been on our app, a lot of the things that they were asking for are now already in place, and we're continuously adding and being innovative because we feel that we are the original, right? We are the innovators. We're not the imitators like maybe some other companies out there, quote, imitators. We are the innovators, right? We're on the cutting edge, and we're the ones that are going to lead this new movement of a co-op model across this country, right? I mean, and it's already growing. And because of those people that have started doing their payments, we have this huge announcement, right? Did you hear about that announcement that we just recently did?
yeah, it's a big milestone. Share it with the drivers.
Yeah, it's huge. We are going to have our first international airport here in California. Actually, here from where I am in Sacramento, California.
Nice.
We've just announced that we are getting approved for the next month in February. So in February, we will be active and live in that airport for drivers to start taking rides. This is huge news because we have a lot of drivers that go from Sacramento over into the Bay Area, right, into San Francisco and vice versa. And now right behind this, I'm going to be down next month already going through the orientation process and all that to get SFO, get San Francisco, get Oakland, get San Jose. All those airports are basically next in line, right? So that's our next huge milestone. So we'll have 4 major airports here online. The first one happening next month, and there very soon thereafter, it's going to be another huge milestone, right? To have those airports, right? And so that's another catalyst for our share value to obviously what? Go up, right? Go up again. Great news for our
Exactly.
drivers. This gives them more value, right, in their initial investment that they did with us. Because one day, as you know, for those that decide to do that, they start off with a penny, right? They get joined up, they get some rides going in, they see the thing, they say, you know what, I want to go with that other program. I want to get up higher because those people are taking advantage of investing in themselves. Uber and Lyft are not investing in them. Uber and Lyft want to kick them off their
Yeah.
platform. That day's coming sooner than we know it, right? And
Yeah, I mean, if I can jump in here,
yeah, yeah.
we constantly get misled by these CEOs. The CEO Derek Khoshawi said, "Oh, you know what, drivers, you're fine. You're 10 years with us. You're fine before we get to AVs." The investors and shareholders said, "Don't sell them on that fact. We're ready in 5 years." So the reality is they're not speaking the truth, and you don't want to be left out there in the cold. And before I hand it back to Ivan. There's actually a couple of cool little stories, a couple of drivers that we will be interviewing, fair co-op drivers in the very near future. Because if you follow my channel, I mean, how many ex-drivers have I converted to SUV drivers who have become private clients? Thousands and thousands, right? Where you actually step into your self-worth. Now, when I compare the fair co-op model with what I do, or where I take UberX drivers that are stuck in this hamster wheel, in this rut, and they cannot get out, and the company's grinding them, extracting them, abusing them, using the algorithms against them. The beautiful thing is you can actually take the driver by the hand and show them what other opportunities lie ahead. So, for example, some of the drivers that we will be interviewing not everyone has that money lying around, like let's say the $500 to buy in right now. So what I said to them, you know what, come in at a penny, right? Register in California, come in at as a penny. You have a handful of tools ready for you to use, right? How to recruit drivers, how to recruit riders. Just those two avenues open up two massive revenue streams for you. Put that money aside, and within 1 or 2 months, you now have the money aside to buy in as as a full member. And as a full member, you own equity in that co-op. You are managing it with your co-drivers, right? You're not having some sort of like king above you saying, oh, this is the way you got to do it, and you got to join this pilot program. No, you're actually growing the company together, and that's the beautiful thing. That creates happy drivers, where you're consistently working as a team. And so I just showed you a very easy way, very much like all the videos in the past from my channel, where how do I get out of UberX? How do I get myself an SUV? How do I build the private clients? And the beautiful thing here, being in California, and this is obviously will go to other states and other international countries as well, is once you are on the Fair Co-op program and you actually start building out your own clientele, meaning that the rider makes you their sort of, their favorite go-to driver, you actually start building out clients just as you would being a private driver. And that's when you actually start stepping into the self-worth. So back to you, Ivan. I see a lot of parallels. And then this is why, it's easy for me to keep on pushing and recruiting. And it's so easy to convince people how to get out of this hamster wheel and Uber rut.
Yeah, I mean that's huge what you just mentioned, because maybe as much as I would love to do your program, right? Buy a big SUV, get all the licensing required, TNC, commercial insurance, all that. It's an investment, right? I mean, it's a cost to get that. I mean, you're getting obviously a little bit better of a reward. You're building a clientele private list. Well, imagine being able to, if I can't get it to that level right now, start off with Fair Co-op. Go to Fair Co-op as an ex-driver. I can come in for a penny and start that process. I already now have my access to all my referrals. I can start building that clientele, signing up drivers, signing up customers, getting that going, so that when I do step up, when I do, have maybe go into the payment plan, $100 a month, get my share going, I'm now invested, right? My share value will increase. My income's now increased. I'm still gaining more private clients. I can take that to the next level, right? And just even starting off as an ex-driver, right? For instance. So this is like the stepping stone by far. And there's no reason, I'm telling you, there's no reason not every single Uber and Lyft driver for one penny should not be as another tool. I've got tools, right? If we're all using Uber and Lyft, what happened when Lyft came around, right? We all use it's another tool. It's another revenue stream. Fare is another revenue stream. It's another tool in our toolbox, right? And that is what we want drivers to do. Just get in for a penny, get your app online. The more that customers see drivers online, even if they're, maybe not a lot of customers right at this very second, leave your app on, because customers now will see that when they go on our thing. They go, oh, there's a bunch of drivers here, man. Maybe I should start using this platform here. And no, they give me a referral code. This is awesome. I can sign up my friends and all that, and make some money. And then whenever they're in an Uber or Lyft, guess what they're going to do as a customer? They're going to sign that driver up. Imagine them making money off of all those rides that driver does when they get over onto our platform. So huge potential, right, for that to take place. But we need drivers online, and we need to get them ready for about what is about to come, right? I just did, some articles, is the one you have right there behind you. We've done some media stuff like that. We have Business Insider article that I was just interviewed for. Huge. I mean, they have, millions, 250 million, people on social media and whatnot. I mean, that goes globally across the world, that they get eyes on that by the millions, right? So the attention is going to be with us, right? We have other milestones that are going to be happening, especially down in LA, right? We're going to be getting LAX going. We're going to get the airports going in LA. We're going to be having the Dolby Theater, the Chinese theater, stuff like that. They're going to have exclusivity to us. There's a lot.
I just brought up something funny here. My good friend Sergio.
Yes.
As these articles are coming out, as the airports, I'm going to actually start sending you, Sergio, I hope you're paying attention here, because I'm going to send you over the articles and send you the milestones that we have achieved. And hopefully, Harry and Sergio will team up over there I know I've done a ton for that channel, and run a really cool story, or maybe interview Ivan. So Sergio, I would love to put you together with Ivan for a good interview. But not to
Yeah,
go off
I would, by the
course,
way, I would love
AVs.
to. I would love
Um,
to.
I want to talk about a big one, autonomous vehicles, because that's really everything that Uber and Lyft are talking about right now, to obviously appease to please their investors and shareholders. How does the Fair Co-op incorporate AVs into the model? Because that's more exciting than anything else. I think the future of the co-op, of the Fair Co-op, uh, with AVs on the horizon. Share a little bit about that, please.
Yeah, so AVs are a true reality, right? As you mentioned, CEO Daryl Kushner, first he said, I think it was like, oh, we're 10 years away from all that. This is just recently, like in this last
Yeah,
week, he was doing
in
stuff.
Davos.
And then I don't know what happened. Like a few days went by, I saw another interview from him, and next thing you know, oh, it's 5 years away. Within like a span of a few days, he cut off 5 years. So I don't know, maybe if somebody talk to him, his executives say, hey, I don't think that, the drivers aren't going to believe that. We got to have something more believable, right? So they're trying to throw out these big numbers, but they're doing that for a specific reason. Why are they putting that into the press, right? You know why? They're getting pressure from reporters, because those reporters that are on their way to the interview are talking to their Uber and Lyft driver and say, hey, I'm about to go interview the CEO guy. And they even said this in some of these interviews. If you're a driver and have watched some of this stuff, I encourage you to check it out. They even said, yeah, when I was driving here, I talked to the driver, right? And oh boy, did they give them, an earful, right? Because, as a
Yeah.
driver, we know what's up. And they're like, man, I see what's going on. The pay is lower. This is happening, whatever. And they are afraid of, all drivers should be afraid of AVs, because they're here to replace us. They're here to replace me. They're here to replace you, all of us, right? So it's not a 10-year away. It's not a 5-year away. They need to keep the drivers in their grasp and their control until that day they can, that they've done their big deals and enough in the marketplace to then say, okay, Torsten, okay, Ivan, thank you so much. You got your 5-star rating. You've been the best driver in the history of Uber. You have a 99.9 acceptance rate. But
Get a little pretty postcard and email.
Yeah, a
Like,
nice little
hey.
card. Thank you for your slavery. I mean, thank you for your service, and
Yeah.
we don't need you anymore. Thanks so much. Goodbye. Boop, off the app. Done. You just bought your brand new car, whatever. They don't care, right? So this is we are the only rideshare entity right there in this marketplace, right? With our co-op, with our drivers, that are enabling you a vehicle, right? A vehicle to get to a position where you will have the opportunity to purchase one of these autonomous vehicles in the future that are going to replace you anyways, right? By having this share value that is going to be increasing in value as we go across California, across the country, across the world, right? We're not in this for little small potatoes, right? We're in this for the big picture, okay? We are a disruptor, and that's what drivers need to understand, that Fair Co-op and the other companies out there, we are a disruptor in the rideshare space by far than any other company. We are disrupting what they have planned out. We are trying to foil their plan and say that's not going to work, because we respect drivers, we care about our drivers, and we want to give them options. We want to give them a way so that, hey, if there's a marketplace still for drivers to be on the platform when Uber and Lyft kick everybody off, and there's still one, we will keep the drivers. We want drivers to be on there, right? If it were in my world, I would love it to never have any autonomous vehicles or whatever, but I'm not ignorant, okay? I'm not, I'm smart enough to see the writing on the wall to know that this is coming. Whether I like it or not, it's coming for me. So I better be prepared. How can I be prepared? What do? I have no money or whatever. Well, hey, we're going to give you a vehicle, a way to come with us, build us up, right, together as a collective, right, as a co-op, get the value up so that when we go IPO, right, when we hit the stock exchange, boom, right, your value goes up. I might have enough to buy 1, 2, maybe 3. Elon, right, with his Teslas, he says, what, like under $30,000 for his car?
Yeah.
I mean, we already see what's happening with Waymo, all the other vehicles out there, right? But I mean, Tesla hasn't even entered it yet. What's going to happen when over 1 million cars one day, when the flick of a switch, all those, not just in his cyber cabs, I'm talking about people's personal car that now are a autonomous vehicle that is going to take over the local neighborhood, right, or whatever. So you have to be prepared for this. If you as driver are watching this and you are not thinking about this, you are on a sinking ship. You are literally on a sinking boat. You're literally working for a company and paying them to get rid of you as fast as they possibly can. If autonomous vehicles were enough in the marketplace today and they had enough share, they would delete them off the app today, right? Today.
Yeah, and drivers, you got to, you can hear it daily, right, in the news. You have Waymo driving on the streets of San Francisco, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Arizona, Austin, Atlanta. It's not 10 years away. This is now. So
That's the tip.
The sooner you start understanding that and planning for your future, and like Ivan said, flip of the switch. You don't want to be left out there on the cold. It's like, oh crap, what now? Right? And you got bills to pay, you got mortgages, you got rent. And so start gradually preparing, grow we've given you a roadmap. You grow your way into the fair co-op. You become an owner. You own equity in the fair co-op, and then you're setting yourself up for future AV vehicles that'll actually be. This is the part I love. That'll be actually working for you. And like you, Ivan, I'm anti AVs. I hate any robots or cars that take away the jobs of human beings. But reality is, we're in 2025. By 2030. Things will look very different in the next 5 years. You're going to have the robo taxis in the mix, like Ivan already said, the Teslas, and if those things are really $35,000 and somebody invests $105,000 in 3 of those vehicles, is making residual income. That's how you got to think. So the fair co-op sets you up for that, and the entry point is minimal. Come on, you can't tell me you don't have a penny lying around in your car under the car mat or under your sofa. Go and get it. Sign up today, and then with the tools that are provided, a lot of tools, a lot of exciting rider and driver tools that'll quickly get you to a fully paid member who's then on course for the future, on course to own an AV. That's what I'm excited about. Not the fact that we are innovators, the fact that the team has identified this. And the funny thing is, there's other people trying to come into the market. They're really trying to copy our model. Take some of the ideas. By the time they've adopted our ideas, we have 3 or 4 new ones coming your anyway. We'll always be 2-3 steps ahead because we dialed in. Right.
Yeah, we're innovators. Like I said, innovators, not imitators, right? So, imitation is the best form of flattery, right? I guess, as they say, I would imagine. But like I said, we're looking for the forefront, But
is there anything else you want to touch on? Because every driver, no matter where you are worldwide, this is an article. I'm going to leave the link under the video to this Grit Daily. I think the interview with Ivan, talking about all the different ways you can get involved, talking about the AV future. I mean, it's so well written, so well. Go ahead.
I wanted to interrupt you just on this just for 1 second. Based on those articles and things that are happening, just to make it really clear. When I was talking about when you buy into a share, right, that share value increases, right, as we do those milestones. In a year from now, it could be, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000, right? And then maybe another 12 months after that, it could be closer to almost 10,000, right? As we're, all the states across the country, all the major cities and so forth. So I don't know if drivers understand that, just like an Amazon company or a, Microsoft or whatever, they all had shares, right, within their company before they went IPO, initial public offering, right? Before they went public on the New York Stock Exchange, they took their private shares, went public, and boom, right? I mean, most of those go up like, times what? 15 times, 20 times. Yeah. Let's be really conservative. Let's say our share value is worth around, let's say 10,000 or so at that time in a couple of years. It goes IPO, and let's say it was the worst, opening or whatever. We only went up 10 times. That's $100,000 in a couple of years from now.
Yeah,
that's enough to buy.
And you brought up a good example. I mean, had you bought into Microsoft or Apple or any of these, Amazon, in the beginning, just like you have the chance to come on board in the beginning with Fair Co-op. I remember I missed many boats, but the one I was super proud of, I had a good friend, very young guy, genius, a billionaire already in his 20s, who's an AI expert, and he said, Torsten, load up on NVIDIA. So from the word go, as that went, and I just loaded up on shares with NVIDIA And it's sort of the same thing here, right? You know, okay, you missed the boat on the $100 or the 300, but $500 is completely doable, my friends.
100%.
Because
100%.
down the line, you know, 2 years time or 3 years, when it's on 10,000 or 15,000, you're going to kick yourself. You're going to say, "Shit, you know what? I should have listened to Ivan and Torsten back in 2025."
Yeah.
We've made it too easy for you, because the penny level entry, with combined with the tools that you have at your disposal, combined with the fact that California is still the number one market for Uber and Lyft, and riders and drivers that are on the Uber Lyft platform are getting more and more upset daily. I mean, the timing and everything could not be more perfect. So I would be excited to talk to a lot of people that come on the penny level in California, and then
Yep.
share with us their success stories 6-12 months later, just like those drivers I'm going to be interviewing in the near future. I actually have to go to the next meeting. Hate to cut you short, but is there final last words by CEO driver Ivan Olivo on the Fair Cop? What knowledge would you like to share with the drivers as we end this interview?
I think it's the sense of urgency. The sense of urgency is now. It all starts with this, like what we've been talking about. It all starts with just one penny, and to do this today. Everyone watching this video right now, after this video, go on your app store, go to, Fair Co-op Driver, download that app, right? Get started, get ready, get your referral code, start talking to those people behind you, right? You're
Yeah.
all, I mean, how many rides do we take a day, right? I got people, Uber and Lyft are paying me to talk to these people that could come over to our platform, right? How do you think Lyft started?
Yeah.
Lyft started in the back seats of Ubers, right? We have the advantage. We are now, having our customers in the backseat of both Uber and Lyft, right? So
Yeah.
that's how this can start. Before the marketing, advertising, whatever, it all depends on the drivers. Look at these comparisons right now. Look at this. Here's some comparisons. $16.56, that exact same ride, $20.11, right, with us, right there. Huge, right? I mean, here's another one. $11.98, $14.59, right? And this is not even, here's another one. $8.59, $11.47, right, on our platform,
Well,
right?
the driver receives that.
Yeah, this is driver stuff I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This is compared to Uber, right? These are some recent rides in the Bay Area, as you can see on the map there, our same exact ride that we did a little model after. And right there, right off the bat, you're already earning money, right? So, being your penny shareholder, right? Not to mention the fact once you get, into the higher, RAM. So those are just some quick examples of what it is to be a penny share driver. You're already ahead of the game.
And on those 3 trips, I mean, even if you add the numbers up, what you earned on Uber, what you earned on Fare, even on those 3 trips, let's say you made $10 more,
Yeah.
right? And $10 more in 2 hours. By the way, the way drivers calculate this, hey, I just got myself 2 extra gallons of gasoline,
Exactly.
which is going to buy me more drive time. So you have the ability to grow quickly. And then this is like Ivan said, this is entry level. You can see the big differences already between Uber and the Fair Co-op.
Exactly. And all those numbers per ride adds up, whether you're making 30% more, 40%, 50% more. And imagine when, like I told you earlier, surge pricing. Oh, we don't have surge pricing. So imagine, getting even higher and higher, with all that going on. It's crazy to think about the potential that a driver has right now. The power's in your hand. You literally have a penny and a phone. That's all, that's all you need. Do your background check and get online with us. Having the power of numbers is the best form of a protest. If you guys are sick and tired of being sick and tired and being depressed and sitting in your car for hours, or waiting for 2-3 hours to take these pennies of rides, right? And playing these games that they put you in timeout, or deactivate you for nothing. I mean, all these things that are happening and going on, you need to come with us. Come with something that was built by drivers, that drivers have a voice. Drivers have, multiple streams of income. We're giving you a future. We're giving you an opportunity to talk to your customers about another alternative that benefits them and benefits you. It's a win-win for everyone. This is the future of rideshare, and we are on the cutting edge of future rideshare. So you're either going to be left behind or you're going to join us. It's up to you. The choice is yours.
Absolutely. And I want to leave the drivers with a personal story. I I'm a YouTuber. I share the daily news, what's hot, what's not. We talk in real language here, right? We don't move in the gray zone. It's either black or white. And I've been with the Fair Co-op now for almost 7 years. I've recruited heavily, um, mainly focusing on drivers. I've done that for Uber. I've done that for Lyft. I've done that for Juno. I've done that for other companies. And I've done it for the Fair Co-op. Here's the big difference I can share with you. From 2019 onwards, Uber and Lyft, sadly, I had to sue them for all the referral dollars that they owed me. To get my first checks, right? Money deposited in my bank for my hard work. I'm actually getting paid for the referrals, where you, the driver who's onboarding for a penny, actually gets paid for referring new riders and drivers. That's a beautiful thing, my friends, right? That's money in the back. And that's the difference between Uber, Lyft, and the Fair Cop, to actually get paid.
And you
It's
get
a
paid
great feeling.
instantly. You get paid
Yeah,
instantly. In your
that's it.
app, I can see it on my phone instantly. As soon as I get right, when I wake up in the morning, I see I got rides from customers I've
Yeah.
never even spoken
You
to
have to
on
fight for your money. You don't have to go through attorneys trying to get your money
Nope.
back.
Nope,
There it
nope.
is.
And this is for a
Your work.
lifetime. This is not a one-time little referral quote bonus or little carrot that they dangle. Oh,
Yeah.
go out and work a million hours and a million rides, and maybe we'll give you some money, right? If you accomplish all this. We're not telling you to accomplish anything, but just sign up and keep yourself online and sign up customers. You get paid every
Proofs in
single
the
time.
pudding. Proofs in the pudding. You go out there, do a few trips, and then you can find out for yourself, right? You saw one of the screenshots, $8 something on Uber, $11 something on Fairco. Proofs in the pudding. I mean, talk
Yep,
is cheap,
exactly.
right?
Drivers just need to get
To
out
go
there.
out and run this test for a penny, I mean, who wouldn't do that, right?
I mean, it boggles the mind, that nobody would just for a penny not to get on our platform,
Yeah.
right? And
Drivers,
hey,
don't procrastinate, don't wait, don't delay, don't wait, don't procrastinate. So a lot of people that push things off. No, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do that next week. I'll do that next year. We're in 2025. These AVs and the change of the models, the change of the rideshare industry is upon us. So come on board, and if you want to exit after a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, it's fine. At least you tried it out. I always say you have nothing to lose by trying something out. You have everything to gain. If it doesn't work for you, you move on to the next thing, right? It's simple.
yeah, but you know what? I'm seeing drivers stick with it because drivers know we just launched this back in October, right? October the 9th, we turned our app on. It was the first time. It's only been a few months, like 3 months or so. And so, yeah, we're telling drivers be patient. It's not going to be, like an Uber or Lyft. A lot of these have the mentality of an Uber or Lyft. I turn on an app and I expect to have 80 million rides coming through here, which
No,
are
that's. I mean, again,
we
we've
just
been very
started.
upfront.
Just started.
We've
Just started.
we're very upfront with the drivers. If you have billions of dollars like Uber and Lyft had back in the early 2000s, then you can throw a lot of money at drivers and grow the company very quickly. We have to do it organically. We're real about it. We're honest about it. And when you, all I say is just hang in for those couple of interviews with drivers that we'll be doing, driver interviews, Fair Co-op driver interviews in my channel, just to show you how they came on board and how they organically grew their business over a few months.
And we have drivers right now that have already, they're getting an average, 10, 15 rides a day just using that favorite driver feature. So it's because of their efforts themselves, talking to those Uber and Lyft people in the backseat, signing them up, getting them on their favorite driver feature. So as soon as they go back on our platform, that ride goes to them first, right? As a first choice option before it goes to somebody else. Just that alone, just that one thing alone, drivers have already been seeing success, and they're just, I mean, they're so excited. I mean, they can't even, contain themselves on how happy they are in comparison to what they've been experiencing with Uber and Lyft. And they're just taking off. We have a driver that has just reached his milestone of 300 signups. Just reached that milestone. And so that's only what, in the last 3 months, 300. One driver in LA, is an LA
Amazing.
driver named Kevin. He's actually our president of the local co-op, because we now have local co-ops now everywhere, where drivers now have leaders within all these major cities across the California.
And we'll do an interview with Kevin, and
Oh yeah,
Kevin will explain to you how he did it.
Absolutely. And it's not rocket science. And he's like, I
Yep.
just talk to the people. I put up my little sign, on the back of my seat,
Yep.
and the customer says, hey, what's this? And
Yep.
oh, that looks good. And oh yeah, boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, they're signed up, favorite driver, done. And next thing you know, every time they're back on the platform, they're taking a ride with him. So it's not rocket science, right? We are, implementing some other major kind of marketing stuff, as you can see even behind you and whatnot's happening.
Yeah.
But aside from that, drivers are an owner. Get out of this mentality that you're a worker. You're not a worker with us. You're an owner. You're part of the family. You're part of the co-op, okay? And we're building something big, and you can build it with us, or you can just stick with Uber and Lyft that are going to, throw you out like a used piece of trash, as I always say, right?
Cool.
Coming up here
That's a
real quick.
great way to end the interview on that
Yep.
positive note. The video will be out there. You can replay it. You can share
Yeah.
it. The beauty is Ivan has his referral codes. I have my referral codes. Whoever you want to sign up under, you have the ability to grow your own business, bringing in riders and drivers. And it's an exciting way to make money. And at least you're being treated like a human. There's no bait and switch and nonsense involved here. So thank you very much, Ivan, for your time. And we'll be doing some videos together with some of the Fair Co-op drivers in the near future, and they will be sharing how they grew their business. Again, thank you so much, Ivan. Appreciate you on my show.
I appreciate it, Torsten. Thanks for the time. Appreciate everything you do for the drivers, and we'll be talking real soon here. Maybe from the Sacramento airport, maybe next. I don't know. We'll see. All right. We'll talk
Great.
to you. Uh-huh.
Take care.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.